From the outside, North Korea feels like a tightly sealed vault, a place shrouded in secrecy and seemingly impossible to escape from. But human beings are wired for freedom and hope, hardwired to seek a life beyond walls, both literal and metaphorical barriers. And for some North Koreans, that innate desire for something more, something different, leads them on a perilous journey, a quest to break free from the confines of their homeland. These are their stories, the top 5 most daring, most harrowing, and dare I say, most audacious escape routes out of North Korea. Get ready, because some of these are truly wild and unbelievable. When you picture escaping North Korea, what comes to mind? A daring sprint across a barren no-man's land, floodlights blazing, bullets whizzing past your ear? Well, for many North Koreans, the reality is a bit less Hollywood and a lot more river crossing. The Tumen and Yalu rivers, which form the border between North Korea and China, have become well-trodden escape routes, passageways to a world beyond the regime's reach. Now you might be thinking, a river? That's it? But don't let the seemingly simple nature of this escape fool you. The currents are strong, the waters are frigid, and the threat of being caught by North Korean or Chinese border patrols is ever present. Some people swim, some wade through shallower sections. And in the dead of winter, when the river freezes over, some even dare to walk across, hoping the ice holds their weight and their hopes for a new life. So, we've established that the China route, while relatively common, is no walk in the park. But for some North Koreans, the risks associated with the Tumen and Yalu rivers are simply too great. They opt for a different kind of perilous journey, one that trades icy waters for scorching sand, the Mongolian route. Imagine this, trekking hundreds of miles across the Gobi Desert, a vast, unforgiving expanse of sand dunes, rocky outcrops, and relentless sun. This escape route isn't for the faint of heart. It's a grueling test of human endurance, a battle against dehydration, starvation, and the elements themselves. Defectors on this route often travel in small groups, relying on each other for support and sharing what little food and water they have. Their journey can take weeks, sometimes even months, with every sunrise bringing the possibility of discovery and every sunset the hope of getting one step closer to freedom. So why Mongolia? What makes this landlocked country, often overlooked on the world stage, a beacon for North Korean defectors? For starters, Mongolia has a relatively small border with North Korea, making it easier to slip across undetected. But perhaps more importantly, Mongolia has a history of granting asylum to North Korean defectors, viewing them as refugees fleeing persecution. The Mongolian route might lack the immediate danger of armed border guards and icy river crossings, but it presents its own set of challenges. Getting lost in the vastness of the Gobi Desert is a very real possibility, and the extreme temperatures, scorching hot during the day, frigid at night, can be deadly. It's a testament to the human spirit, the sheer will to survive, that anyone makes it out of that desert alive. So we've talked about escaping North Korea through China and Mongolia, but there's another, less traveled path, Russia. This route is not as well known or as frequently discussed, but it exists, and has been a lifeline for some. It might sound surprising given the whole Cold War history, but Russia shares a tiny 11-mile border with North Korea. This small stretch of land has become a critical escape route for a few brave souls, and for a small number of defectors, it's the escape route they choose. This path is fraught with danger and uncertainty, but for some, it represents the only glimmer of hope. This route often starts with North Koreans being sent to Russia as laborers. These individuals are usually selected by the North Korean government and sent to work in various industries. Imagine being sent to a foreign country, not for a vacation, but to work, often in grueling conditions, with little pay and even less freedom. These laborers are subjected to harsh environments and strict surveillance. It sounds bleak, and it is, but for some it's a chance, however slim, to slip away. The oppressive conditions can sometimes provide the cover needed to plan an escape. Once in Russia, the journey is far from over. The vastness of the country and the unfamiliarity of the terrain add layers of complexity to their escape. Defectors face a whole new set of challenges. A vast and unfamiliar country, a language they don't speak, and the constant fear of being caught and sent back. The Russian landscape, while offering a route to freedom, is also a formidable barrier. It takes a special kind of courage, a deep well of desperation to keep going when everything seems stacked against you. The mental and physical toll is immense. Now, escaping through Russia isn't like hopping on a train and arriving in freedom. The journey is perilous and requires meticulous planning and immense resilience. It's often a long, arduous trek, sometimes on foot, through dense forests, across frozen rivers, with the ever-present threat of being caught by Russian authorities. The natural elements themselves can be as dangerous as any human threat. Imagine, you're trekking through the Siberian wilderness in the dead of winter. The cold is bone-chilling, and the landscape is unforgiving. The wind is howling, snow is blinding, and your breath hangs frozen in the air. Every step is a battle against the elements. You're exhausted, hungry, and terrified. But giving up isn't an option. The thought of freedom, however distant, is the only thing that keeps you moving forward. Not when freedom, however distant, is the only thing keeping you going. The hope of a better life fuels their determination. And then there's the language barrier. The inability to communicate can turn even the simplest tasks into insurmountable challenges. Imagine trying to ask for help, for directions, for food, when you can't even understand the words for please or thank you. The isolation can be overwhelming. It's a testament to human resilience, to the sheer will to survive, that anyone manages to escape this way at all. The strength and determination of these individuals are truly remarkable. But amidst the hardship, the fear, there are glimmers of hope. Small acts of kindness can make a world of difference. There are stories of defectors being helped by ordinary Russians, people who, despite the risks, offer food, shelter, a moment of kindness to strangers in need. These acts of compassion are lifelines. These acts of compassion, however small, can mean the difference between life and death for a fleeing North Korean. A simple gesture can have profound implications. A bowl of soup, a warm place to sleep, a few words of encouragement. They might seem insignificant, but in that moment, they're everything. These small comforts can provide the strength needed to continue. Of course, not everyone is so lucky. The journey is fraught with peril, and many do not make it. Some defectors are caught by Russian authorities and deported back to North Korea, where they face harsh punishments, imprisonment, even worse. The consequences of being caught are severe and terrifying. The stakes are incredibly high, the risks unimaginable, but still, they keep coming. The desire for freedom outweighs the fear of the consequences. The ultimate goal for most defectors escaping through Russia is to reach a third country, often one in Europe, where they can seek asylum. This is the final leg of their arduous journey, but even if they manage to evade capture, the journey is far from over. The process of seeking asylum is complex and fraught with its own challenges. They often have to rely on a network of underground organizations, NGOs, and sympathetic individuals who are willing to help them navigate the complex world of asylum seeking. These networks are crucial for their survival. It's a world of paperwork, interviews, legal battles, a world where their fate hangs in the balance. The bureaucratic hurdles can be as daunting as the physical journey. It's a long, arduous process filled with uncertainty and fear. The path to freedom is not straightforward, and every step is fraught with challenges. But for those who have escaped the grip of North Korea, braved the frozen wastelands of Russia, it's a journey worth taking. The hope of a new life makes every hardship bearable. It's a testament to the enduring human spirit, the unyielding desire for freedom. The courage and determination of these defectors are a powerful reminder of the lengths to which people will go to achieve freedom. Okay, so we've talked about rivers, deserts, and even sneaking through Russia. But what if you're a North Korean who needs to make a break for it, and you find yourself, say, in downtown Beijing? The bustling streets, the constant surveillance, the sheer number of people, it can be overwhelming. But that's where things get really interesting. You see, there's this whole other level of escape, one that plays out like a scene from a spy thriller, The Embassy Run. Imagine this. You're in a foreign country, maybe on a work trip or as a student, and the longing for freedom hits you like a ton of bricks. You know going home isn't an option, not really, so what do? You become incredibly resourceful, that's what. You see, embassies, especially those of democratic countries, are like little bubbles of sovereignty. Step onto that embassy ground, and you're technically on their soil. And for someone desperate to escape the clutches of the North Korean regime, that sliver of foreign land can feel like a lifeline. Now, I'm not talking about strolling in casually through the front door. We're talking about high-stakes maneuvers, sprinting past security guards, vaulting over fences. It's a desperate gamble, a leap of faith that the country you're seeking refuge in will grant it. And you know what? Sometimes it actually works. One of the most famous cases involves a North Korean family who, in 1991, made a daring dash into the Japanese consulate in Beijing. They were actually a family of musicians sent by the government to perform abroad. Can you imagine the pressure? They saw their chance, seized it, and basically threw the regime a curveball it wasn't expecting. They spent 2 years, living within the confines of that consulate, essentially becoming residents of a diplomatic waiting room. Can you imagine the tension, the uncertainty? The whole world was watching, waiting to see what would happen. It became this huge international incident, a diplomatic tug-of-war with the North Korean government demanding their return. But here's the thing about embassies and international law. It gets complicated. See, countries have this thing called diplomatic immunity, which basically means they get to call the shots on their own turf. So, while the North Korean government fumed, the family remained out of reach, stuck in this weird limbo. It took the intervention of a third country, the Philippines, to finally break the stalemate. They agreed to give the family asylum, a safe haven far from the reach of the North Korean government. And just like that, after 2 years of uncertainty, they were finally free. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes, even in the most desperate of situations, hope can prevail. These embassy escapes aren't just about physical hurdles. They're about navigating a maze of international law and political maneuvering. It's a high-stakes game of chess, with lives hanging in the balance. And the stakes couldn't be higher. If caught, defectors face being sent back to North Korea, where punishment can be swift and brutal. But despite the risks, the embassy route continues to be a beacon of hope for those seeking freedom. It speaks to the desperation of their circumstances, the lengths they're willing to go to for a shot at a better life. And it highlights the crucial role that embassies play, not just as diplomatic outposts, but as potential sanctuaries for those fleeing oppression. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds very cloak and dagger. Surely it's not that common. And you'd be right, it's not. Embassy escapes are rare, often shrouded in secrecy for the safety of those involved. But they offer a glimpse into the extraordinary lengths people will go to for a taste of freedom. It's a reminder that the fight for human rights can play out in the most unexpected of places, even within the supposedly safe havens of diplomatic compounds. The stories of those who attempt these daring escapes are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. They remind us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, hope flickers on. These escapes are a stark reminder of the privileges many of us take for granted: the freedom to move, to speak our minds, to simply exist without fear. They challenge us to confront the realities of oppression happening in our world, to not turn a blind eye to the plight of others. Because in the grand scheme of things, the distance between standing on the outside of an embassy gate and finding yourself seeking refuge within its walls is smaller than we might think. So the next time you see an embassy, don't just see a building. See it as a symbol of hope, a potential safe haven for those desperate for a taste of freedom. And remember the stories of those who risked everything on a daring dash, a gamble for a better life. These tales of courage and determination are not just about the individuals who make the run. They are about the universal human desire for freedom and dignity. They remind us that no matter where we come from, the yearning for a better life is a powerful force. It's a force that can drive people to take unimaginable risks, to defy oppressive regimes, and to seek sanctuary in the most unlikely of places. These stories also highlight the importance of international solidarity and the role that other nations can play in providing refuge and support. The intervention of the Philippines in the case of the North Korean family is a testament to the impact that diplomatic efforts can have in saving lives. It's a reminder that the fight for human rights is a collective responsibility. We must continue to advocate for those who are oppressed and support efforts to provide safe havens for those in need. The embassy run is more than just a dramatic escape. It's a symbol of hope, resilience, and the enduring human spirit. It's a testament to the lengths people will go to for a chance at freedom and a better life. And the stakes couldn't be higher. If caught, defectors face being sent back to North Korea, where punishment can be swift and brutal. But despite the risks, the embassy route continues to be a beacon of hope for those seeking freedom. It speaks to the desperation of their circumstances, the lengths they're willing to go to for a shot at a better life. It highlights the crucial role that embassies play, not just as diplomatic outposts, but as potential sanctuaries for those fleeing oppression. And it highlights the crucial role that embassies play, not just as diplomatic outposts, but as potential sanctuaries for those fleeing oppression. And it highlights the crucial role that embassies play, not just as diplomatic outposts, but as potential sanctuaries for those fleeing oppression. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds very cloak and dagger. Surely it's not that common. And you'd be right, it's not. Embassy escapes are rare, often shrouded in secrecy for the safety of those involved. But they offer a glimpse into the extraordinary lengths people will go to for a taste of freedom. It's a reminder that the fight for human rights can play out in the most unexpected of places, even within the supposedly safe havens of diplomatic compounds. The stories of those who attempt these daring escapes are a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. They remind us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, hope flickers on. These escapes are a stark reminder of the privileges many of us take for granted, the freedom to move, to speak our minds, to simply exist without fear. They challenge us to confront the realities of oppression happening in our world, to not turn a blind eye to the plight of others. Because in the grand scheme of things, the distance between standing on the outside of an embassy gate and finding yourself seeking refuge within its walls is smaller than we might think. So, the next time you see an embassy, don't just see a building. See it as a symbol of hope, a potential safe haven for those desperate for a taste of freedom. And remember the stories of those who risked everything on a daring dash, a gamble for a better life. Alright, so we've covered a lot of ground literally in our exploration of North Korean escapes. We've talked about icy rivers, vast deserts, even the diplomatic tightrope walk of embassy runs. But now we're diving into territory so treacherous, so fraught with danger, that it makes all those other escapes look like a walk in the park. I'm talking, of course, about the DMZ, the Demilitarized Zone, a 2.5-mile-wide strip of land that slices through the Korean peninsula, a buffer zone between North and South Korea that's anything but demilitarized. It's one of the most heavily guarded borders on the planet, bristling with landmines, barbed wire fences, and enough firepower to make your head spin. You've got minefields, guard posts every few hundred meters, and soldiers on both sides with itchy trigger fingers. It's a place where one wrong step, one rustle in the bushes, can mean the difference between life and death. It's a no man's land, a chilling reminder of a war that never officially ended. So you might be asking yourself, why on earth would anyone even consider crossing it? Well, desperation can make people do extraordinary things. One of the most well-known escapes through the DMZ happened back in 2017. A young North Korean soldier, barely old enough to shave, decided he'd had enough. He was stationed at a guard post, staring across the DMZ at what seemed like another world, South Korea. And one day, he made a run for it. Now, I'm not talking about a casual stroll across the border. This soldier was shot multiple times by his own comrades as he sprinted towards freedom. He was hit in the elbow, the shoulder, even in the back. Can you imagine the pain, the sheer terror? But he kept going, driven by a desperate hope for a better life. He collapsed just 50 yards from the South Korean side, his body riddled with bullets. South Korean soldiers, realizing what was happening, risked their own lives to crawl out and drag him to safety. He underwent multiple surgeries, barely clinging to life, but he survived. And his story became an instant sensation, a testament to the unyielding human desire for freedom, even in the face of unimaginable danger. Now you might be thinking, this guy got incredibly lucky, and you'd be right. Most attempts to cross the DMZ end in tragedy. Families separated for decades with only the faintest hope of reunion. The land is littered with the ghosts of those who never made it, their stories lost to the fog of war and secrecy. But even though the odds of survival are slim, the DMZ remains a potent symbol of the yearning for freedom that burns within those trapped in North Korea. It's a stark reminder of the human cost of division, of the arbitrary lines drawn on a map that separate families and extinguish dreams. And it begs the question, What would you risk for a shot at freedom? Would you be willing to face down minefields and machine guns, knowing that each step could be your last? It's a question that weighs heavily on the minds of those living under the oppressive regime, a question that highlights the true value of liberty. The stories of those who dare to cross the DMZ, whether they succeed or not, serve as a powerful reminder of the human spirit's ability to endure even in the darkest of times. They remind us that the fight for freedom is often a perilous one, fraught with danger and uncertainty. But they also offer a glimmer of hope, a testament to the fact that even in the most heavily guarded corners of the world, the desire for liberty can never be truly extinguished. The DMZ stands as a stark reminder of the lengths to which people will go to escape oppression. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a symbol of hope, and a beacon of the unyielding desire for freedom. The stories of those who attempt to cross it, whether successful or not, serve as powerful narratives of courage and determination. They remind us that even in the face of insurmountable odds, the quest for liberty is a fundamental human drive that can never be fully suppressed. The DMZ, with all its dangers and challenges, continues to be a potent symbol of this enduring struggle for freedom. So, how did you like this video? Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? From icy rivers to desolate deserts, daring embassy dashes, and the perilous crossing of the DMZ, we've explored some of the most incredible escapes from North Korea. And it's got me thinking about my own writing. I have an account on wattpad.com, where I go by the name Shadow Queen 667. I'm always working on new stories, and my latest one is a real doozy, a Monster High and Ghost Rider crossover fanfiction. Talk about escapes, right? If you're interested, you can find the link on my channel page for Wattpad. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace out.